what's up guys? So today I just wanted to talk about my turbo kit, what's involved with that, what it consists of, what the ordering process was like, what the install was like, what kind of power you can expect, and then finally, ultimately, is it worth it? So first, the turbo kit consists of, it's a Garrett GT 2560R, and then it has a Dead Hook Motorsports tubular manifold, catless downpipe, it's a tile external wastegate, and then a tile Q blow-off valve. For the ordering process, it's basically, you know, really simple. You just go on deadhookmotorsports.com. You have a bunch of options to choose from, what turbo kit you want, mainly, you know, what turbo you want to run. You know, if you want a catted downpipe or a catless, if you want the wastegate dump to be recirculated into the downpipe. So those are just kind of options, really simple, straightforward. But as far as the weight process, each kit is built to order. So as soon as you place your order, nothing is built yet. You know, they need to build it from scratch. Everything is beautiful. It's handmade. I mean, you can't really get better quality than this. So for me, my wait time I think was between 2.5 to 3 months. But for me, it's absolutely well worth it. I mean, it's, you know, I know a lot of people run the ATP kits, and I've heard nothing but bad things about them. Poor build quality, pretty bad results with them. As far as the install is concerned, it's pretty straightforward. If you have any type of mechanical skill, it is on the more difficult side of things, but you know, ultimately it's just removing bolts and replacing them. So it took my buddy and myself about, I think, 8 or so hours to do the install. Again, nothing difficult, nothing that's overly challenging. It can just be time consuming. Make sure that you have the right tools. One of the problems we ran into was we had to reclock the turbo, and we didn't have any snap ring pliers. We went to get some, they didn't have them, so we got some needle nose pliers, and that made it a little difficult. That was the most, honestly, the most challenging thing of the whole install. If we just had the snap ring pliers, it would have been simple. As far as power is concerned, I made, on 91 pump gas, I made 280 wheel horsepower and 270 foot-pounds of torque. And then on E30, I ended up making 328 wheel horsepower and 289 foot-pounds of torque. So pretty significant. Just to compare that, when I was stage 3, you know, full bolt-ons and Pro Tune from Cobb, SoCal, I made 214 wheel horsepower and about 290 wheel torque. So those numbers might seem weird when you're looking at the torque numbers, but numbers just tell a little bit of the story. You have to look at the dyno graph and see that now my torque curve is pretty, you know, linear. It holds it for a long time, where on that factory turbo, it's only holding it for like 100 RPMs at that 290 foot-pound number, and then just jumps off a cliff. So it's very, you know, in my opinion, it's not really good for speed. It's good for a quick kick in the pants, but for me, all it was doing was making me lose traction, and then it would die right away. Also, what is it like to drive? Well, I mean, it's very timid on the street. It's not a problem to drive it around in the city, or just go, you know, use it for a commuter on the highway. It's, you know, performs very similar to stock. It's not until you get into the throttle and get into the power that you can tell that it's different. So drivability is excellent. I've had the kit on for roughly about 2,000 miles now. I've had no issues. You know, it's run flawlessly. Partly, you know, that's thanks to Dead Hook Motorsports, Russ, and his tuning. The tuning is, you know, perfect. He developed the kit, he tuned the kit. No one knows it better than he does. So, you know, I'm glad that he was the one that is tuning the vehicle. So yeah, it's been great. Couldn't be happier with the drivability on the street. And then talking about, you know, again with the power, it's night and day difference over the factory turbo. You can't even, it's not even comparable. I mean, it's a completely different car now. So speaking of power, let's see if I could get a little pull for you right here. I'll just do a first to third. I'll just roll on first. And just roll this window down for a little more sound. All right, here we go. Again, I'm just going to be rolling on to first. top of third, you know, very quickly. Yeah, there's a little traction issues, but honestly, like I said, the traction issues were worse when I was on the stock turbo, just because you had that huge torque spike, and that would make the traction, you know, make the tires break loose. But now it's much more progressive. I just wanted to add something. Saw people posting, so this car was reviewed by TJ Hunt, and I saw people posting about how, you know, these cars are made to be canyon carvers, and how, you know, this turbo just causes lag and takes away the character of the car, and that's absolutely could not be the case. I mean, I make 25 pounds of boost at 3,400 RPMs, so I don't know what the hell people are doing driving down in the 2,000 RPM range, but as far as lag goes, it's not an issue at all. If you're driving this car, you know, if you're talking about driving it how it's made to be driven, or driving it in the canyons or an autocross, you're never going to be below 2,000 RPMs. So, you know, there's not an issue as far as power. It's there when you need it. It spools extremely quick. Is it as fast as the factory turbo? No, but again, the factory turbo, yeah, that's great. It gives you some power for a couple hundred RPMs and then starts to drop off. Where this pulls, I made my max power at 7,300 RPMs. So this thing pulls all the way to the red line, no issues whatsoever. And then ultimately, is it worth it? Well, you know, when you look at the cost over something like an ATP kit, it is basically double the cost. But in my opinion, it's leaps and bounds. It's way more than 2 times better than the ATP kit. I mean, you know, the age-old saying, you get what you pay for, and here it's evident. You know, the parts are just top-notch quality. You know, again, I've heard nothing but bad things about the ATP kits. You know, their build quality sucks. They literally fall apart on the car. Their performance numbers suck. Their spool time's not very good. So, is it worth the cost? To me, absolutely. And I think, you know, judging by how many people have gone with the ATP kit and then ended up selling it and went with the Dead Hook Motorsports kit, I mean, do it right the first time. You know, you save a lot of time, money, and energy if you just do it right from the start. So my recommendation is absolutely go with the Dead Hook Motorsports from the start. You won't regret it. Anyways, I hope this video helped answer your questions about the kit. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments below, and see you next time.